Chapter 8 begins with Miss Jun-hee trying to heal Jin-woo, but failed as she was already low on mana. The other hunters watched her trying. Hunter Kim pointed out that the dungeon had already claimed more than half the party. 17 had entered, and now only 6 remained. Mr. Song added that 2 out of the 6 were gravely injured. It's unfortunate that you lost your arm, but this is all because you made rash decisions as team leader, Mr. Kim said, blaming Mr. Song, and that he needed to take responsibility. Mr. Song agreed. Just then, the giant statue got up again. This had the hunters bewildered and scared. With a raise of its hand, the statue raised an altar appearing before the hunters. The hunters asked what that was. Jin-woo responded it was an altar used for sacrifices. He also reminded them that the last commandment said prove your faith, and that this was probably the last trial. It was then that Kim Sang-shik, his voice trembling but laced with desperation, broke the silence. No matter how stupid I may be, I think I understand what's going on now. This means we have to sacrifice someone, right? He pointed out his sword at Mr. Song, saying it was you who brought us here. Someone who bragged about his wife and 2 kids was cleaved in half and 10 others were killed as well. You agreed to take responsibility just now, right? Then prove it. Hunter Sung tried to speak against it, but he was yelled at to shut up by Mr. Kim. Mr. Song agreed, saying he will go by himself. Jin-woo was totally against it, but powerless and disabled, he couldn't do anything. With slow, deliberate steps, he began to walk toward the massive altar at the center of the chamber. Each step felt heavier than the last, but his resolve was unshaken. As soon as he reached the edge, a sudden flame burst into life, encircling the altar with a glow that lit the shadows. The hunters froze in awe. Something had been triggered. Mr. Song said to Jin-woo, "Hey, Mr. Sung, is this not what we're supposed to do?" "Carry me?" Sung Jin-woo's voice was weak but firm. His body was broken, his leg gone, yet his eyes still burned with determination. "Take me to the altar." Reluctantly, one of the hunters helped him forward, and when Jin-woo was laid upon the sacred platform, another flame flared to life. The altar was awakening. One by one, more of the survivors stepped forward. Each arrival brought forth another flame, until the entire circle blazed with light. Mr. Sung asked if there was a chance they might get saved by other hunters, as it was already 1 week since the gate appeared in the outside world. Mr. Song added that the colossal statues would start advancing before any reinforcement could come. Wu started thinking. A gate opens up completely 7 days after appearing if left uncleared. The monsters could come through to their world if this happens. Raids were the only way of preventing this, only if the boss of the dungeon is killed before this 7 days. If they failed in closing this dungeon, it would mean those statues were getting loose into the world. Wu called for Mr. Kim and Jun-hee to come over to the altar for the trial to start, that a flame would lit up for every single person. They walked to the altar, and in that brilliance, blue flames lit up all round the altar, and the gate also out the temple opened up. In shock, the hunters wondered what was going on, and so the armed statues started advancing towards the altar. A sound, low and thunderous, began to roll through the chamber. One by one, the massive stone statues that had stood silent and lifeless began to move. Their stone joints ground against each other as their heads turned, eyes glowing with a menacing light. With steps that shook the floor, they advanced toward the altar, each movement radiating overwhelming power. The hunters' brief relief was replaced with terror. The temple was not done with them. The trial had only shifted into its next stage. The statues were coming. The true test had only just begun. The temple shook as the colossal statues came to life, their footsteps booming like thunder. The hunters huddled together on the altar, eyes wide with terror. Just moments ago, they thought they had found safety. Now the truth became clear. The altar wasn't their escape. It was the stage for their next trial. Wu told them to keep their eyes peeled on the stone statues, as this prevents them from moving. Seconds later, one of the hunters ran out the door screaming. The very moment she stepped out the circle, a flame went out. The others were surprised as nothing had happened to her, and she made it out the door. Hunter Sung realized that the blue flames fire were a timer, and with each dying flame, the door closes a little. Next, one of the hunters holding Jin Woo threw him on the floor, saying, "Sorry, I don't think I can remain here any longer," as he ran out the door. Next, Jin Woo pointed out that if anyone else was to leave, they wouldn't have enough eyes watching the statues, and this would allow them to continue advancing towards them. Mr. Song asked what was happening. Hunter Sung replied that they only had to watch the statues till the blue flames disappear, and they were timers, that they would probably be allowed to walk in the end. Mr. Kim responded saying, "You may be right, but couldn't the door just close completely when the flame dies out?" "To be honest, I never thought someone as weak as you could be so helpful. I always looked down on you, never expecting anything from you even as you joined our party," he added, blatantly knowing what he was about to do. "A lot of people died as we entered this room, but the ones alive lived because of you. All because you solved some riddle. I'm also alive because of you, thank you," he added. "But I have a family too, and I don't want to die here," he said, crying just as he ran out the door, leaving just Mr. Song, Hunter Sung, and Jun Hee. Mr. Song noticed the door was almost closed now. He volunteered to remain, asking Jun Hee and Hunter Sung to leave. Trying to get up, Jun Hee's leg failed, leaving her unable to move. Hunter Sung missing a leg, he asked that they leave instead, and he'll remain back, saying there's no way he could carry her out himself. He also gave Jun Hee his E-rank magic core, asking her to buy herself the dinner he promised her. She snapped at him, saying this wasn't the time for jokes. Mr. Song knocked her out and carried her on his shoulders, as he promised Hunter Sung he'd take care of her as they walked out the door. The temple was silent now, save for the stone statues. The others were gone. Their footsteps had faded into the darkness of the corridor, leaving Sung Jinwoo broken and bleeding on the cold ground. The flames of the altar still flickered, but without the others, their sanctuary felt hollow. The statues advanced, their shadows swallowing him whole. Their steps were earthquakes, their weapons a storm of death. He held up a sword, thinking to himself he would at least destroy one of them. One after another, the statues attacked Jinwoo. As he laid there hit after hit, his mind began to wander, thinking how the others left him to die, making up excuses, and that he didn't want to die. If only he had another chance, he thought. With an incoming strike that seemed like it would be the one to kill him, a system appeared in front of him with the words written, "You have met all the requirements required for the secret quest, Courage of the Weak." The next prompt was, "You have earned the right to be a player. Will you accept? You do not have much time remaining. If you do not accept, your heart will stop approximately 0.02 seconds later. Will you accept?" Finally, he accepted, and so the chapter ended.